Galeon's 485 HTS is not a new boat. It was introduced around about 2017. But here at the British Motor Yacht Show in Swanwick, we have the first in the UK, so we thought we'd take a much closer look at that. Well, as you can see, it's quite a stylish piece of equipment. There's all sorts of curves and intricate mouldings on these hull sides. None of that's strictly necessary, of course, but all of it very welcome. Now if I look round to the other side, right next to the 485, we have the 460 Fly from Galeon. As you can see, we have some very clever fold-out balconies there, and that's the sort of thing that Galeon's become famous for over the years. Neat little tricks that improve your day out on the water without unduly inflating the price. So I'm keen to step on board this 485 and see what it has to offer. Now, starting on the back, we've got a nice big high-low platform. Now this thing's robust enough to handle 500 kilos, so that brings all sorts of toys and tenders well within range. We also have the aft garage right here with a little bit of quick access storage should you need it. Because you've got this nice big garage, which is big enough to take perhaps a 2.8 metre jet rib or something along those lines. Plus you've got this high-low platform. You could, in essence, you could carry two decent sized toys on here, or else one on the platform and then load up the garage with all your various bits and bobs of water sports gear. Now, as we move up the steps to the starboard side around that sunbed, and this is a central sunbed, so we got an equal width of access point on either side, port and starboard. We have down here the controls for the platform. We also have the water point, so you can treat yourself to a proper shower, and we have the transom shower as well. Move up those steps past the gate. Now, this is quite a nice space, it has to be said. Wraparound seating. Now if you don't need as large a tender garage as we have down there, then you can just spec a more conventional wraparound C-shaped seating unit back here. But this, with the extra sunbed, is quite nice. I should mention also, actually, while we're looking at some of the final details back here, that built into this part just above the Galeon logo, we've got some lovely inset LEDs which set things off a treat at night. There are plenty of options, of course, all over this boat for little touches like that. But one of the really key things here in this aft cockpit has to be the interaction between the outdoor space and the indoor space. Now we hear this a lot, don't we, from every manufacturer, inside, outside living spaces and day spaces, but it's really very nicely done here, and so it should be, because HTS, this is not so much a coupe style closed saloon. This is designed to be a hardtop, a sporting hardtop. So what we have here, let me just find the controls. Where are we? Just inside. If we press that, we'll see this partition here between the inside and outside lounging spaces. Just lifts right up, and then we simply close the door right over. And what that does for us, if we step back, you can see the internal saloon is entirely shut off, which means you can have air-conditioned luxury in there, or open it all out and extend your party zone to integrate properly with the external cockpit too. So let's just open this back up again. Now if we move forward up a couple of steps onto these side decks, again symmetrical, so you've got a really good width of side deck on both sides, and rails that come right up to your knee, plus of course a handrail up there on the roof. And it doesn't feel at all dicey making your way forward. And up here on the foredeck, what we have is what they like to call a cabana, essentially a pram hood. So it swings up over the top of these two sunbathing cushions. It gives you plenty of shade. And what I particularly like about this section up here actually is the fact that these cushions sit on top of a huge glass panel. Essentially this entire foredeck is made of glass, as you can see. So if we just lift that up a little bit and have a little look underneath, when we step down below, you'll see how effective that is for the light in the forward cabin. There's another neat touch actually as we make our way back aft on the port side. Just down here. Now if we open these up, we'll see a little deep set drainage channel halfway along the walkways on both sides. And what that does is ensure that those people back here in the cockpit stay nice and dry. Okay. Now, of course, that table in the cockpit does lower down to extend the sun pad, make it even larger. As we make our way into the saloon, it's quite nicely organised. We've got a starboard walkway that works its way across to the centre for access down into the cabins. And what we have is a nice big seating area to port. Lovely big windows that give you a good view pretty much all round. I mean, there's absolutely no obstruction there at all from a seating position. Oddly enough, visibility is equally good if you look up. I mean, right now they've got the sunroof retracted back, but even that roof there, that's made of glass as well, tinted glass, just like the sunroof itself. What do we have over here? Sunroof, there we are. If we move the sunroof back into place, watch it come over. As you can see, that's made of the same kind of glass as the roof further aft. So when it's in position, we've got a wonderful sheltered cocoon with tremendous natural light, lots of lovely views all round, and you're able to air condition that, so on days like today when it's 25 degrees you can feel completely comfortable. Now that's impressive, you have to say. To starboard we have a compact little galley space, nice high quality worktops. And when you fold this up, we have the conventional sink, space here for a griddle or a couple of hot plates, and down below storage space which is filled with various bits and bobs for the show, and the little fridge there, plus some dials for your tank levels and so on, and some extra storage space there. Nice handrails to make your way forward. And I should say the quality of the finish here is really impressive. Really impressive. And this is quite a high gloss finish on this particular model, but of course you can have whatever kind of wood you favour. As we move over to the helm, again we got an opening side window to really pursue that inside-outside idea that's so prevalent with the HTS series. We have joystick control down here and the twin throttles. Now this is a med spec boat rather than UK spec boat, so it actually comes with IPS 600s rather than D6380s, and that's apparently good for about 35 knots, which is pretty good. You have to say, with twin 600 litre fuel tanks, it should also give you a usable range around about 250 nautical miles, which again is very useful for long distance cruising. And you might argue that that stanchion there to starboard of the helm position is a touch thick in terms of visibility, but really a single piece screen, opening sunroof. And I imagine, I think I'm probably right, if we retract that sunroof again, and then we can open up the view as well as cool ourselves down a little bit. Let's have a look. Yeah, just here we've got a little fold down step, which means you can perch yourself up high with your hands on the wheel. And now look at that for a view. Obviously the pram hood doesn't help it greatly, but you can very much imagine how that would feel out on the water. Now, let's pop down below into the central and lower saloon. Now to port we have a galley. We've got an opening porthole there as well for some fresh air. Lots of lovely storage up on top, again in this beautiful high gloss. And to starboard we have an equally impressive dinette. Now this could be converted into a double, and you can spec the boat with a curtain that comes across there for privacy. As things stand though, it's a very nice space to come down to. You can probably hear the air conditioning whirring away. On that note, actually, we've got independent air conditioning, climate control in each of these sections of the boat. So this little gadget here is for us to adjust the temperature. We'll shut that up a little bit. Yeah, 17 degrees, just right. Now you can spec this instead as a bunk cabin if you want to sleep 6, but really the flexibility to have it like this with a table that you can open up and fold down. I think, yes, that's, let me just sort that out. A bit sticky, and it would be because a lot of the stuff for this boat just arrived last week, so it's brand spanking new. And again, the quality of the workmanship is very impressive indeed. Up here you have the brake panel and also your stereo. The lights in there incidentally automatically come on when you open the door to help you out. And again, we have storage, high-level storage, which is hinged from above rather than below, so it doesn't clatter down when you're out in a slightly lumpy sea. Over at the galley itself, we have a dual oven and the hob top, the sink, and a little bin at the back, plus a little groove here just behind the tap, you'll see, for you to slot in your lids, which is a lovely touch. Now moving forward into the guest double, it's very nice. If we look up, we'll see these enormous glass panels above us. Now when we remove those Foredeck cushions, that's all light. You still get decent views from either side, plus again opening windows for fresh air. And the double bed itself is raised, so we've got plenty of lovely storage underneath. We also have access to the heads compartment. Now this is, as you'll see from the second door there, they're day heads, accessible from the lounge itself. But that makes good sense. It's good use of space, and it operates as a wet room too. And I have to say the headroom is outstanding. I mean, it's got to be 6'6", I would have thought, in here. And it's the same throughout this lower deck. Again, we've got the climate control for this specific cabin further forward there. And if I close this door over, it's just held open by that magnet. So we've got proper hanging storage in there. And lots of headroom again. Lots of room up here, you see, to get changed. Now, let's work our way back a little. See the master cabin, which is a full beam affair further aft. Amidships, there we are. If we step down into this cabin. Now the first thing you're greeted with, again, loads of headroom, huge hull windows here, and a really nice settee to port where you can just relax, check out the view. There's plenty of space for this too. It's a good changing area, and a really nice touch actually is if you move to this side and open this up, on comes the mirror. Fold this bit down. Hold on, do we fold that bit up? Yes, that's what we do. And then you pop your legs in, and what you essentially have is a dressing table, a makeup area. That's a nice touch. Okay. All over this boat there's ambient lighting like this detail at the headboard instead of aggressive spotlights. And it's worth noting also that we have little hatches throughout the boat too, which enable you to get to the nitty-gritty of boating, things like the shower pump and sump down below there. And also what's quite impressive about this boat, if we just nip out here for a second, don't want to forget this bit, these are kind of sit on top carpets. If I can just get this to come up, I'll illustrate what I mean by that. So again, we've got proper hardwood floor underneath the carpet. That's a real belt and braces approach. It's very impressive. Now again, plenty of storage back in this main cabin. Big wide open windows, again opening portholes. And I like the use of blinds as well. These blinds, incidentally, can be exactly colour matched to the type of wood that you use for the general fit out, and they look superb, so much more modern and clean and fresh than curtains. And of course, for the skipper, you get your own private ensuite with a separate shower just ahead. The usual toilet and sink, and again the light and the headroom. Just remove these. Oh. And the brightness of these overhead panels. Okay, it's kind of ruined by the Galeon 485 brochure sitting on top, but it's the same out here in the entrance point. Okay, that's kind of ruined by some placemats. We'll keep working at it. Back into the main lounge area. That's more like it. And that looks out onto the windscreen above. So whether you've got that sunroof up there open or not, you still get plenty of lovely natural light. Okay, let's work our way back up top. So what we really have here on the 485 HTS, it's not quite as full of tricks and ingenuity as you might see on various other Galeons, but it does a brilliant job of mixing those inside and outdoor spaces on the main deck. There's tremendous light and headroom downstairs, and it's still relatively affordable. In the UK, we're looking at an on-the-water price of £766,510. And of course, you can spec that up in all sorts of ways, but even at that price, it's a pretty high-spec boat full of ingenious little touches that just make the boating experience that bit easier, that bit more fun. And you have to say well done to Galeon for that.